Hi everyone, welcome back to Day in the Life of the Cool Kid, where we started this channel to bring awareness about koolen-devries syndrome, or KDVS, after our son Dane. He is now 2 and received his diagnosis about a year and a half ago in January of 2019. Today we actually have a family from all the way over from England, so we're going to be able to chat with them a little bit and hear their story. So today we have Miss Carol and Matt. So please welcome them. Hey, Miss Carol.
Hi, good to see you.
Good to see you as well. So we just have a couple questions, and we'll go ahead and start with the first one for you. So first off, how was your pregnancy and birth?
Pregnancy was, as far as I knew, entirely normal. Matt was my first child, so everything seemed to be quite straightforward. But when he was a little bit overdue, 6 days overdue, and when I went into labour, there was meconium, so he was distressed. So we went straight over to the hospital, and the labour was about 13 hours. And they were quite short-staffed on the labour ward, so I asked for an epidural and they didn't have anyone available to do one. And when Matt was born, he didn't breathe straight away, so he was yeah, so, and then they managed to get him breathing, but he was sort of very pale and making a sort of a grunting sound, so they took him straight off to special care when he was born.
Wow. Okay. So when all that happened, is that what then caused you to want to look into as to why, or did they just say that this is kind of something that will sometimes happen?
Yeah, at the time they said he had inhaled the meconium, but they said it could have just been because of being distressed during labour. You know, it could have just been one of those things and he'll just get over it. So we were in hospital for 5 days in special care, and then we took him home. But we did notice by that stage that he had a stridor, you know, a sort of, do you know stridor? Yeah, sort of made a sort of a wheezing sound when he was breathing in and when he was crying. But because he was my first child, I didn't really realise there was anything particularly wrong. So he was also struggling to feed and struggling to latch on, and I just thought that was me not being very good at it. But actually, it turned out that he didn't really have a strong enough suckle to really take in what he needed. So I was feeding him sort of every half an hour to an hour, just finish a feed, and then he'd start crying again. And then when he was about, because everyone's always, you know, breast is best, and when he was about, I think about 6 weeks old, I just in desperation just went and bought some formula and tried him with a bottle, and he couldn't take it with the teat, and I had to make the hole bigger, and that was when I realised that he obviously wasn't really strong enough to be, and he did start gaining weight then. So yeah, so
Wow.
it's quite a difficult time.
Yeah.
With, as I say, I didn't really realise there was anything wrong, and then we went to the doctor, the GP, general practitioner, for our first 6-week checkup, and he knew we were going back to the hospital for a follow-up because he'd been in special care. So he sort of said to me, "Oh, you're going to the hospital anyway, so that's all fine." And I took that to mean that everything was fine, that he was all right. And then we went to the hospital, and that was when they said he was floppy, and that they wanted to run some tests. And they just sent us for blood tests, and I said, "What are you testing for?" And they said, "Oh, it's just a general screen." But I saw on the form that they tested for Prader-Willi, which is something that can cause floppiness in you know, infancy. So I then must have contacted someone then to say, why are they testing for this, you know, what is it? And that's what led us down that sort of path, if you like.
Wow. And this was at 6 weeks, you said?
Yeah, 6 weeks they did the blood test. Then that was normal, that was nothing found. And they did also a chromosome test, but in those days the chromosome test was just looking at it through a microscope, so it was a very basic test, just would spot any really obvious abnormalities. So that was fine. He was still floppy. And when he was 3 months old, we went, well, 4 months, I went out to Australia where my mum and dad were and my siblings. And my husband, well, we weren't married at the time, so my husband came out, we were getting married out there. And so we booked it before he was born, thought, oh yeah, we'll take the baby, that will be fine. And we did take him, but when we were there, he had some seizures, and he was hospitalized. And that was when we really realized there was something wrong. So I was going to have him christened with my sister's baby the week before we got married, and I wanted them to let us go out of the hospital to get him christened and then bring him back because he was on anticonvulsants. And the doctor came round and she sort of said, oh, is he always like this? And I said, well, like what? And she said, well, his tongue's thrusting, and she said he's obviously got some sort of brain damage. And that was me being told that there was something seriously wrong. So yeah, so it was quite hard.
At 3 months, you just experienced everything that you just experienced, and then that's what the doctor says to you.
Yeah,
I can't imagine.
So we brought him back, and then we had more tests and more doctors and more specialists, and we sort of ascertained that yes, he was delayed. It could still, at that stage, they were still saying it could have been due to birth trauma. And we actually did start to go down a legal route where we wanted them to look into whether our care was sufficient. But that takes a few years. And at the end of that, they said that our care was substandard, but there wasn't enough of a causal link between that and him having a disability. So we just kept on. Well, my daughter's 14 months younger, so then very soon I was pregnant with my daughter, and at that time they then realised that they hadn't tested for mucopolysaccharides, which they were a bit concerned about. So that would have been a degenerative condition. So when I was, I think I was 16 weeks pregnant, they did an urgent blood test to see whether he had that, because then they would want me to consider whether I would proceed with the pregnancy. But thankfully he didn't, but that was sort of quite a stressful time as well.
Goodness, yes, that's what it sounds like.
But yeah, he didn't have that. So we just carried on. We just kept on going back to the geneticist, and we'd say, I was looking things up. We didn't really have the internet when he was first born, but by the time he was about 2 or 3, we had the internet. And so I'd look up and I'd pour through magazines just looking for someone that looked like him, because that's what someone once said to me. One day you might come across someone else who looks the same, and then you'll find out what it is, So I kept on looking through and didn't find anything, which is really strange, because since he's been diagnosed, we actually have known quite a lot of families who we knew anyway, who had the same condition. So it's quite strange.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It is. So you actually knew families that had children with KDVS before you knew that's what they had?
Yeah, so when he was only about 2 or 3, I got in touch with someone through do you know Unique, the chromosome?
Oh, yes.
The place that produces the leaflets. I got in touch with them, and they put me in touch with another mum of a floppy baby, and we corresponded, and we're still in touch now, but we kept in touch. But it seemed like her son had autism, so Matt didn't have autism. So I thought, okay, well, they obviously haven't got the same thing, they're just both floppy. But after Matt was diagnosed with the CGHRA when he was 13, she had her son diagnosed a few years later, and they've got the same condition. Yeah.
Wow.
But
so how old was Matt when you got the actual diagnosis?
13, yes. So he, I'd actually contacted the geneticist because we saw them every couple of years, and I'd seen about this facial scanning thing you could have where it just picked out similarities, and then it would sometimes lead to a diagnosis. So I wrote to her and said, could we try this? And she misunderstood and thought I was talking about CGHRA. So she said, oh yeah, you can have that. I'll send you for a test. And then probably was about 10 months before we actually got a letter just to say, we've identified a problem on the 17th chromosome. Here's an appointment for whenever. Of course, I got straight onto Google, and 17th chromosome can be not that nice, can't it? There can be quite a few things linked with all sorts of nasty things. So I then rang them in a panic and they said, oh, it's this 17q2131, it was called then. And then it was like, okay, that's okay. But I think, no, he was 13, 1994. Sorry.
No, you're okay.
2004. Yeah, 2007. So I think it was only not long been discovered then,
really
had it?
Kind of come out, even that they found that.
Yeah.
The gene name. Wow, that's incredible. So how old is he? He was in 94, so he's 26 now, is that right?
That's right, yeah. And he had a friend at school as well who he was quite friendly with at school. And then again, after he got his diagnosis, her mum said, what is it? And so I gave her the leaflet, and she said, I'm going to ask about my daughter, and she had it as well. It was so uncanny. And then when a friend of mine who's on a hypertonia group, she was corresponding with someone, and she saw a picture of this little girl, and she said she looks just like Matt did when he was little. And so she put us in touch, and yeah, they had it as well. So
wow, so you really made some good connections then.
Yeah, definitely.
Just especially in the beginning. Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Well, so you guys have been definitely, I know you said in the beginning is when he had his seizures. Has he had any other medical issues or any other issues that you guys have faced since then?
No, so he had the seizures when he was about 4 months old. Then they weaned him off the anticonvulsants not long after we came back from our holiday. But he had a couple more seizures, but they were febrile, so they were linked to a temperature. And then he hasn't, touch wood, had one since he was about 3.5. He had some issues, had to be hospitalized a couple of times with his breathing and with chest infections when he was little. But again, from about 3.5, that cleared up. He's got a hearing impairment, which he used to wear hearing aids. He prefers not to wear them now. He can hear. He probably could hear better if he wore them, but he doesn't really choose to wear them. So that's fine. He had very, very weak ankles. And when he was 6, he had an operation on his ankles called a bilateral arthrodesis, and it fused the bones to make them more stable. I don't know if it was quite a thing to have done at the time, but I haven't come across anyone else that's had it done, so I don't know. But it did really help for quite a long time. And in fact, even now, he doesn't wear any special footwear or anything. The only thing we've noticed is if he does a lot of walking, his ankles might swell up a little bit. But
wow, that's great to have found some things that worked for him to make
yeah,
him,
definitely.
independent and take care of himself and things like that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's so great. I can't wait to meet him.
Yeah.
So the last question I have for you then, and then we'll bring Matt on, is what kind of advice would you give to new KDVS families, such as myself that has a young child, or maybe someone that's an adult and has just received their diagnosis?
Um, just welcome to the family, I guess. I think it's, we've got a brilliant community here on our Facebook pages and things where we can all share our experiences, and just remember that every child is unique, and actually we can learn a lot from each other, but also it doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the path for us, because I think sometimes when Matt was little, I was desperate to meet someone with an older child with the same condition, really wanted to see that. But you'll have seen yourself from our Facebook group that there's such a wide range of different needs and different challenges. And just I count myself really lucky to have Matt. I mean, he's 26 years old. He took he tells me regularly that I'm a lovely mother, and you know, that he loves me so much. He's always wanting to give me a hug, you know, and not many mums of 26-year-olds could say that. So yeah, he's amazing, and he's doing really well for himself. So I'll let him tell you all about that.
I'm here.
Hey there, Matt.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good.
This is Bethany,
Wonderful.
Matt.
Huh?
Bethany lives in Florida.
All right.
Hey there, Matt. Yes, my name's Bethany. So I just got done talking to your mom, and so now we said it's your turn to talk about whatever you'd like, what you enjoy doing.
Okay.
Do you
So
want to tell us about your jobs?
Huh?
How
Sorry.
old are you?
I am 26.
Okay. So you're getting pretty old then, huh?
Yeah.
And what do you enjoy doing?
I enjoy working.
Oh, really? What do you do?
I work at the Mary Rose.
And what kind of building is that?
The Mary Rose is a museum.
Really? What do you do at the museum?
I'm a tour guide, so I talk to visitors about the Mary Rose.
Really?
It's a shipwreck that was brought up from the ground, and they keep it preserved. And so, yeah, they've got lots of artifacts there, and Matt greets people and tells them about the artifacts and things.
Oh, wow, that's great. So do you like history then?
Yes.
Nice, that's great. And what else do you like to do?
I like spending time with my girlfriend.
You have a girlfriend, huh?
Yes.
Well, you have to tell us what her name is and how old she is.
Her name is Jenny Godbold. She's in her 30s.
Wonderful, that's great. And your mom approves?
Yes.
Good. That's wonderful, Matt. Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about?
What about drama, Matt?
I joined a drama group.
That's like acting?
Yeah, acting. At the moment I haven't been able to go back to drama.
Because of the lockdown.
Because of lockdown.
So I'm not actually doing Panto this January.
Do you get to do any type of classes online like this?
No. My drama group don't do online classes.
Okay.
But Matt was in a pantomime at Christmas. And what part did you play, Matt? Can you remember?
I was at the pantomime at Christmas, and I played Billy Bones at Christmas.
Billy Bones, and it was in. What did we do? Was it Treasure Island?
Yeah, it was Treasure Island.
Treasure Island, and he played Billy Bones.
Okay.
Mean pirate. And then the other thing that you do as well is you've got another job, haven't you, in a charity shop?
Yes.
But you can't do that either at the moment because of the lockdown.
No.
This lockdown is no fun.
No, it's not fun at all, really.
You have such a contagious smile and laugh. Well, what would you? Huh?
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say we've got some good news, haven't we, today, Matt? Because
Yes.
Matt hasn't been able to come to our house since the 23rd of March because of lockdown, but he's going to be able to come this weekend. So this is our first weekend where he's be able to come back and see the pets. So yeah, it's really,
that's great.
That.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. So where Where do you live now, Matt?
I live in supported living.
Is that
in Stubbington.
is it like
Stubbington.
a group home? Is what it is?
Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So you get to be around other friends and things like that.
Yes.
So you're not by yourself. That's good.
No, exactly.
That's wonderful.
So sorry about the noise. That's Matt's friends.
No, that's good. Especially in this lockdown, to have to be able to be around people. It's good.
Matt, tell Bethany about your journey when you go to the Mary Rose. Like, you have to get a bus, don't you?
Oh yeah. I have to. Yeah, when I go to Mary Rose, I have to get a bus. Then I have to get a ferry. Then I have to walk.
Yeah.
And I have to do the same, and then I have to do the same journey back.
That's a lot to remember. I would get lost very quickly.
Would ya?
Yes.
And you like musicals as well, don't you, Matt?
I do like musicals. Yes, I do like musicals.
We can only see half your face at the moment, mate.
Yeah, I do like musicals.
What's your favorite?
My favourite would be Lion King musical.
That is good.
I've seen that for about 3 times.
Really? Have you seen the new movie that they came out with, the live action?
I have seen that live action movie.
And you like that version too?
Yeah. It's very different.
And
Did
we
you
had
see the
Hamilton. We had Hamilton come out on the Disney Channel as well, didn't we?
Yeah, we did actually.
Yeah.
I
so we've
haven't
got
seen
that.
Hamilton yet.
It's really different.
Hamilton is on Disney Plus, which is a new Disney viewing platform.
I have to get on and watch it. I've heard a lot about Hamilton, but I have not seen it yet.
All right.
Maybe I'll watch it today.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, I have another question for you.
Right.
So this video, other cool brothers and sisters will get to see this. What would you like to say to them, or any of your family that gets to see you on here?
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing because for the first time I've had to celebrate my birthday in lockdown, which I found it hard to do. I celebrate my mum's birthday in lockdown. I had to celebrate my Mother's Day in lockdown. So, no, actually, I had to celebrate my Father's Day in lockdown. So it was
It's been hard, hasn't it?
Yes, my whole working life from what has been before this even started was brilliant, but it's been hard since all of that gone away.
What do you think?
And I've had to wait for a couple of months until stuff gone back to normal slowly.
We have to be very patient, haven't we? What do you think about being cool, Matt, and having koolen-devries?
It's really good in being cool. I love koolen-devries.
Yeah. And we've met some people, haven't we? We went to Leeds when we had the UK get together.
Oh yeah.
There was
did
Matt
meet in Leeds.
Matt and Alex were the similar age. Alex is from Dublin. I think he's been to America actually. One of the meetups over there. I've seen pictures of him. But yeah, you two got on like a house on fire, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. I've also went to Vicky Skidmore's house.
Yeah, we went to Vicky's house and met some more families, but they were usually a lot younger, weren't they?
Yeah, they were usually a lot younger.
So we'll have to go out to the next, when we can travel again, we'll have to go out to the next American one, won't we? The next US one, Matt. And then can meet lots of people. You can meet Bethany's son. He's only
We can meet
2.
in person.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah, but I need to get a new passport.
Yeah, you do. That's the other amazing thing, Matt. Tell Bethany about the holiday you did a couple of years ago to see Auntie Sharon.
Oh yeah, the holiday I've done literally a few years ago or a few months ago. I've actually travelled completely on my own to Australia to meet up with my Auntie Sharon.
Wow. All the way from England.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How long of that's a long trip.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We can only see your head again, Matt. Top of your head. That's better.
Yeah. It was a long trip. I went with parents for years, and then I just decided to 1 year I was just like, I really want to go on my own and experience Australia on my own.
Mm-hmm.
We've got family there, so you stay with them.
Yeah, I've got family over in Australia.
So you enjoy being over there on your own. That's
yeah,
being independent.
I've got loads of cousins.
That's great. So you got to go enjoy Australia with your family.
On my own, and then I went up with my mum a month after I went on my own.
Yeah. You went on your own, but you had a lot of family out there to spend time with, didn't you?
Yes.
That's great. You're so inspiring, Matt, and you have a very contagious smile. So thank you for sharing it with us.
That's all right.
Cool. He does need a shave, but he is in lockdown, so we'll let him off.
There you go.
Yeah.
You get away with it this time.
Yeah. I get away with it. I get away with it.
Well, Matt, thank you so much for coming on and talking to me and to all of us that get to see the video and sharing your story. And Miss Carol, again, thank you for your time as well. It was really so great to meet both of you.
Oh, lovely to meet you too. Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely.
Really helpful.
Absolutely. I'm glad it's worked out. You'll have a wonderful rest of your evening, okay?
Until I get my new passport, I will seriously come over and meet and see you face to face.
Yeah,
that would be great. I look forward to that day.
Okay. Take care then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.